everybody, and welcome. My name's Carlo Libertini, and thanks for joining us here today. We're going to have a lot of fun with an amazing plugin here. I'm talking about Hive 2 from the great folks at UE. Now, being a guitar player myself, I've always wanted to dive into the world of modular synthesizers. These are based on real hardware units that used to take a lot of passion and know-how on how to program and create tones. Well, Hive 2 brings decades of that experience and hard work into one easy-to-use application like this. And I created a demo session for us to try today, so why don't we dive right in and test our speakers and check out Hive 2 before we get started. It is a beautiful synthesizer plugin. It has streamlined workflow, thoughtfulness built into it, and it's very light on your CPU. I'm surprised. It has a lot of punch and flexibility. Now, regardless of the kind of music you create, whether it's EDM or fusion or ambient music, or you just want to have fun making new sounds, well, as I said before, Hive 2 makes it really easy. What we're looking at here is the application itself. So what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about some of the individual components. But I should preface this by saying that this can get really, really deep. That's the power of synthesizers today, and these virtual oscillators and filter banks and such. So we'll cover some of the basics here, but of course the best way always is to find out for yourself. So there'll be links in the description below. But right now, let's get started. And we'll start right here at the very, very top. Why don't I solo? Let's take a look at this one here. Okay. Again, so flexible. So beginning at the top, we could see that in the voice mode, you've got poly, mono, legato, and duo. And you have up to 16 different voices that it can play back. You can also fine tune it here. And in this section, this is where you can get access to some of the most unique and powerful presets I've ever seen in a plugin before. These are really thought out, and it's a great way to jumpstart your creativity. Of course, you should always get in the habit of, saving and building your own library of presets, but it comes with like some really unique ones. Let's jump into a few. How about this one, Big Sky? And you can scroll through them, obviously by using the arrows like this to go forwards and backwards. I like that, very 80s sounding. Let's try a couple more randomly and go to Cloud M9. And undo and redo, obviously. Now, if you want to see the presets here, just open it up. Now, in my experience, I love advanced preset browsers, and this may be the most feature-rich preset browser that I've ever used. And just taking a look at it, you have a directory, you can search. And this is why I feel that the developers at UE really put a lot of workflow thoughtfulness into this. It's because you could create tags for metadata in your presets. So you can search either with the tags that you attach to them, or just with generally in the search directory box here. And you can see you have favorites that you can also color code. So you could actually right click on one, mark it as a favorite, and you see as a unique colored dot for it. You can even hide some, and you can even show them in the Explorer, so you can gain access to them if you wanted to email them or share them with colleagues and such. Now, the preset browser, I feel, is as I mentioned before, a great way to jumpstart your creativity. Let's say we wanted some keys. I could just select this right here, and look how many presets we've got. Strings, plucks and stabs, chords, drums, loops, mono leads. Let's try one of these. Let's go to this one. Let's bring in the drums. try another one. Ooh, it sounds like a good one. Let's try another one. I like that one. How about pads? Isn't that beautiful? Now, when you're done with a preset, you can just deactivate it here with the same button. And that preset will obviously load all of the parameters necessary that create that unique sound that we're getting here. For example, you can see under the synth engine, which is a great place to start, you've got clean, normal, and dirty. Clean is a very non-distorted signal path, I should say. Normal, well, why don't we take a listen to normal now? Let's choose a different preset for this. Let's go to... Okay, and that's under dirty. Here's normal. And clean. So there is a difference. So it's a good place to start. So fundamentally, you kind of want to choose your flavor, if you will, clean, normal, or dirty when creating your own presets there. And again, this is kind of an application where it's going to grow, obviously, with you. Because it looks like a lot going on here, but I can really simplify this for you in a second. All right, check this out. What I'm going to do is, let me open up this image that I borrowed from the manual. Now, I definitely recommend reading the manual, and this will help you understand it a little bit better. Here's a general control bar at the top and the engine that we were just referencing. You have oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. It's kind of a butterfly here, with filter 1 on one side, filter 2 corresponding on the other side, amp envelopes, modulation, LFOs on both sides, and then the wavetable sequencer, XY control and effects and scope in the middle. So it's very easily, if you understand one side of this, then the other side makes a lot of sense to you as well. And they're connected. And there's really handy images for how the signal flow works within the application, like a real world hardware scenario in the manual. Check it out. It really helped me a lot when I first got started. And I spent some time with this. I wanted to really get to know it a lot before I sat down and spent this time with you. But still, there's so much that it can do. Let's get into another tone here. Let's try this one. Nice. Okay, next up, let's talk about our oscillators, because I feel that the oscillators are truly the most powerful section. And there's one, again, on the left side and the right side. And you do have options under the disclosure arrows here on each side to choose some parameters to get started with. Now, right now I have it set on wavetable. And the reason why I like this is you can get an idea of some of the different flavors. Let's play some audio and run through some of these. And you could right click to see the ones I'm scrolling through too. Here, under wavetable. And you can also choose different flavors from within that. Some very low information there, like that. Let's solo that. So the oscillators also have detuning, width, panning, volume, vibrato, and such. And a lot of these can actually be controlled. You'll notice that there's targets here. These targets can be dragged onto several of these parameters, and they can be controlled in unison like a macro function. So keep that in mind, just when you thought it couldn't get any more amazing. All right, next up, we've got the filter section. Here's filter 1 and here's filter 2. And just like the oscillator, you could choose from different flavors here within them. Really interesting, actually. Let's see, shimmer. And you can right click them and choose the speeds there, or you can bypass it. You can also, yes, you can link these to this side so you can have similar controls for both. So keep that in mind. There's a link button there. All right, let's go on to our amp section. As I mentioned before, you can actually click and drag these onto different parameters, and it'll create different kind of modulation connections for you to link those parameters together to work in concert with each other. Really cool. I've actually always loved that about modular synthesizers. This is the kind of thing that would have taken a lot of work years ago in the hardware world. Now, notice if you select comb or dissonant reverb and sideband, you can actually get access to parameters. Different functions for those parameters. Let's try reverb. And then you could choose your signal flow here, oscillator 1 into sub 1. And definitely I have limitless mixing and matching. Again, it's so deep and absolutely creative that I feel that I get lost within something so creative like this because it's just always new and exciting every time. And that's what's great about Hive 2 is like it's up to you and your imagination. You can do it all. Okay, so here we have amp 1 and amp 2. This is the modulation one, and this is the amplifier one. And then you could definitely, you know, maybe try something different like this and something like that. Very harpsichordy. And following to that, we have the LFO here with, we have the similar parameters. And again, these can be triggered and attached and connected to other processes. Great. I'm going to change this tone. Let's see. Love that. All right. Now the LFO, let's see, is obviously a low frequency oscillator, which you can choose. Again, some more options. And for more examples of the signal flow, definitely check out the manual because there's a beautiful, beautiful diagram there showing you how the audio moves throughout these different modulation sections. But I want to talk about the functions, function 1 and function 2. Now, what's really cool is that these are called function generators. And you just notice that they have targets here for the envelope, the rise and the still, attack, decay, slope, the input, and the mode, obviously. So you could select on the input and you could choose modulation wheel if you wanted, amp 1, any out of the function controls that are all available here. Again, connecting this and building bridges, if you will, of more creativity and power. Now, they each have their own crosshair, and to do something like that, you could drag it to any one of these parameters, and you could choose what you want it to do and link them just like that. Doesn't that sound beautiful? Now the shape sequencer following that is where you can create really complex modulations. I'm not going to get into that right now because I think I could do a whole video on just that, but there's so much to really explore here. LFO1, we talked about oscillators. Let's go to oscillator 2, for example. If you wanted to add something, I just soloed it. Here's what it's adding right there. I just soloed it. We could change that. Sounds nice. Let's blend it in. And it's easy as that. I changed, so we're blending something from oscillator 1 with oscillator 2. I give it what was called a hard glass there. It sounded really nice. Gave it a bit of a musical attack that I really like. Let's bring the drum loops in. All right. Now, next in the center here, let's talk about this. We have wavetable 1 and wavetable 2. You can actually load different waves here. This is a really fundamental, it's like, to me, it's like the heart. It's what's connecting everything here, because you have the arpeggiator and the sequencer section here. Let's try a different one. Let's see if we get arpeggiator. Let's see if we can get arpeggiator one of these. Here we go. Let's try this one right here. Beautiful. It's a perfect example of the sequencer right here. And time base, arp, direction. You can see the gate. For example, if we wanted to affect this, I could actually deactivate the gate on some of these for different rhythmic feel. Just like that. Again, a little goes a long way. The center part here is where you would be, down here below is where you could use it to create a lot of rhythmic elements. If I was to go to, let's see, this here, you can see that I could choose a different kind of segment types when you're creating your different elements in these segments here. So that's what this is going to be all about. But right now I'm just using a loop here in segment 1. And the next one is an XY pad. And I really like this because you can map this to a MIDI controller, obviously, and you can really manipulate your tones in real time. And another thing, so you could map, let's say, right-click 1 to, let's see, let's go to assign, let's assign X1 to oscillator mix. Let's see if that works. Hear that? And the same with 2. We could say this one could go to cutoff frequency, resonant frequency. We could do, or you could actually do the opposite. You could take amp 1, drag it on there like this, and now that's going to control that. XY pad is super cool. I mean, I absolutely love that. Let's talk about the effects now section. Let's go to this right here, this tone. Yes, the effects, it's really great. I mean, look at this built into this. You don't need to add further inserts in here. And did I mention that Hive 2 has low impact on your CPU? Traditionally, I mean, there are some instantiations where you may increase a little bit, but it's designed to be really efficient. Now back to the effects. We have distortion, delay, compressor, chorus, and again, to circle back, as repetition is good, when you're working with presets, oh, and you hear an effect you like, open the effects panel right here, check it out. So you can, you know, teach yourself, maybe learn something new. I mean, we're doing it all the time. All right, let's activate our delay. Bring in some delay. Just my mix. It's on stereo. Let's do ping pong. That sounds nice. Maybe you could reference this on headphones like I'm doing. That sounds really nice. We could set a different time for each ear. Oh, I like that. Let's bring in some reverb. Let's bring in some other instruments. And here under scope, let me take the delay and the reverb off. Check this out. You have real-time information, and you can drag any one of these parameters into the scope to see what it is doing in this scope format. Now, when we add the delay back on and the reverb, you'll see that the scope will represent the additional audio content that it's reflecting. Love this view. This is one application that may tax your CPU a little bit, maybe not, but I've had no problems with it. All right. And then, of course, down here, you've got a keyboard. Let's change the tone here. Let's go to this one. All right, go back to keys. And again, you could map it to your hardware keyboard controller. I mean, take full advantage of all of this. You have matrix A up to 12, I believe. Yep. And these, again, can be assigned right here. Here's the primary function to create modulation matrices for complex signal flow and really unique custom tones. And I want to say like feel of different kind of combinations of the oscillators and the LFOs here. So you would assign your primary here, and you could do that up to 12 times, and you could toggle them on and off. So you could just use one, or you can have up to 12. Did I mention this was a D program? Yeah, but it's still easy to use. We're trying to demystify a little bit for first-time users, like I was just a few weeks ago. And again, I'm really loving this. Now over here, you can actually choose, see they got targets here. You can take these and you can target any one of these parameters. For example, I could take the gate and attach it to the decay here in mod 1. And any other parameter here, you can also right click and choose remove that modulation. So again, really flexible. XY pad 1, XY pad 2, XY pad 3, and XY pad 4. It just really goes on and on and on. I've been having a ball with this, and I recommend the best way to find out really is for yourself. Now, I've been spending a few weeks with this. I really love it. I think Yuhi has come out with a new standard in synthesizers. So just dive right in, stay creative, stay busy, download a demo today, visit the links below, and really just have fun and explore the world of virtual synthesizers, because we do stand on the shoulders of giants. Years, decades ago, we could not have this capability so easily in the palm of our hands, but now you do today, thanks to Yuhi and Hive 2 here. So definitely check out a sample, dive right in, explore what you can do, and stay busy and stay creative, everyone. And thank you for watching. My name is Carlo Libertini.